Latas kamera vielä kuntoon tuosta. Moi. Moi. Eikö se tukkanetistä? Varmasti. Onpas tää sininen taas. Erikoista. Laitaas tosta. Noin. Mulla on kauhea babyface tässä. Aika jännä. Joo. Taas joo. Elikkä The Shapeshifting Detective on tommonen FMV-peli. Tän pelin tekijältä on aikaisemmin tullut toi Blue Shifti kanssa. Tai Late Shifti tai mikä tää oli. Katsotaas. Vielä tuolta. Joo. Elikkä niiltä on Late Shifti tullut aikaisemmin. Se oli kans tommonen FMV-peli. Mutta joo. Aloitellaan tota peliä. Katsotaan, mä en oo tätä vielä pelannut. Saapi nähdä mitä tässä on. Vettä kitusi. Täällä on näyttävä kahvilta. Toi kahvia.
You're listening to Radio August. Dark
Morjes, mitäs tuomarit?
It's 5 o'clock and I'm Alice Monroe with your August update. August police are appealing for information following the murder of 21-year-old Dorota Shaw. Miss Shaw's body was discovered last night. Chief DuPont is calling the crime a violent and despicable act. Anyone with information about the murder is urged to get in touch via the department's confidential tip hotline. It's horrible, Poe.
Indeed it is.
Tää vähän sekoittaa mun kameraa tää peli.
You need to learn when to keep your mouth shut.
Eikö se ole aika hyvät grafiikat tässä? Kuinka sä oot?
Exactly. Rewind.
You're listening to Radio August. Dark Nights with Poe and Monroe.
It's 5 o'clock and I'm Alice Monroe with your August update. August police are appealing for information following the murder of 21-year-old Dorota Shaw. Miss Shaw's body was discovered last night. Chief DuPont is calling the crime a violent and despicable act. Anyone with information about the murder is urged to get in touch via the department's confidential tip hotline. It's horrible, Poe.
Indeed it is.
Onko tavoitteita ja
You need to learn when to keep your mouth shut.
Twitch koette tupelle nyt tälle vuodelle? En tiedä, ehkä jos vähän sais suositummaksi tätä kanavaa, en tiedä. Että tää olis kun olet online.
You know why you're here,
Sätteilyä
don't you?
tai jotain. Mutta en tiedä. Mitäs alkaa taas tekemään enemmän YouTubeen vähän videoita? Mahdollisesti, yes.
Then humor me. The dead girl.
Mitä sä
And
siitä
this.
haluat tietää?
What exactly were you thinking?
Mä en
You have
ajattele
one
koskaan
job.
mitään.
Don't get caught. Do you
Ei
think
se
you
on
can
rikos,
do
jos se ei
that
jää
this time?
kiinni. Joo.
It's a rhetorical question. You're going to a town called August. Find Chief DuPont. He's gonna think you're someone else.
August.
This person.
Näytä.
This is who you are now.
Kuka?
Understood?
No.
Understood?
Joo.
Splendid.
Tuntuu, ettei toi tyyppi ota eitä vastauksia.
If someone so much as sniffs that you're different, you'll be deprecated.
Oh snap.
Deprecated.
We expect you to use your ability. Just don't get caught. And never, ever change into a child.
In brighter news, August resident Mia French is celebrating the return of her missing pooch, Barley. The 8-month-old Basset Hound puppy was found outside Daryl's Chicken and Ribs.
And that's 5 o'clock with Poe and Monroe.
I'm Violet. Welcome to the guest house. There are some rules. In particular, no shoes in the guest house. The carpet's priceless. Now, how long are you staying for?
Niin kauan kuin se vie.
Yes, the chief said it may be a while. I can see you don't mind getting your hands dirty, though.
Enkä saa edes talossa
There's not many visitors of late.
Törkeitä.
Perhaps the murder will bring some tourists in.
Ruvetaan murhaan täällä vähän porukkaa hotellissa, niin kyllä rupee vierailijoita tulee. Varmasti. Stoiteksi.
Sometimes we wish we'd asked something and the moment just
goes away. Niin se murha vai?
Yes, the murder.
Yeah.
You haven't spoken to the chief yet, have you?
Kyllä näissä on kanssa jotain pöllisin tossa.
Chief Dupont. He's the one who got the room for you. You look lost. You should probably go and speak to the chief. Your room is just down the hall, last on the left. It has its own back door. The chief said that's the way you'd like it.
Pitäisikö muuttua dogeksi tossa?
Just finishing.
Mennä puhun sillä. Onko se joku...
You don't bleed?
Toi... Nope.
That's okay. Sometimes life is just a stream of
En mä usko
coincidences.
tommoseen hömpötykseen.
Hi, I'm Bronwyn.
Joo. Kiva
Pleased to meet you, Sam.
Sammy.
If you'd like a reading.
Joo, toki.
So, what's your question, Sam?
No semmoista vaan, että... Onko se syyllinen? Tapoitko sä sen?
Oh. The page of cups. It suggests I'm innocent of whatever it is I'm being accused of.
Toi kuulostaa
I'm
vähän
going to be seeing a lot
puolueelliselta
more of you, aren't I, Sam?
vastaukselta.
I'm in room 1 and that's down the hall. Lorraine's in 2, Lexi's in 3. And which room are you in, Sam?
En sanois mielellä.
Mysterious. But I know you're in room 4, Sam. Don't do
Naiset
anything
tykkää
in there.
mysteerisistä.
Going up and up and up. And I always wake up before I reach the top. What do you think, Poe?
No, mites tää rupes? Nightbotti on rupes niinku...
Quite an interesting dream. I would say he is someone who wants to reach heights that they've never seen, and I think they're very ambitious, and they might be a little over-ambitious.
Niinkö?
Well, I can in fact tell you that a tower does in fact symbolize a quest for...
En tiedä, pitäisikö toi Nightbotti ottaa pois. Niin. C3PO suuttu mulle. Botman. Sakelin botit aina. Kettuilee kaikenlaista. Sen pitäisi tietää monta eri kieltä. On C3PO. Miltäs tää video muuten näyttää siellä? Mulla on vaan opsista tollain. Shifting locked. En mä voi vielä vaihtaa. Koska mä voin tuo radiossa. Siis stream tai video, miltä se näyttää. Onko hyvä laatu?
I have never seen anything like this.
Sotkua.
So, it feels heavy again. And I think, I want to say,
Good, you got my message. Chief Inspector DuPont.
Okay.
I wasn't sure you'd come,
Teleportattiin.
but I suppose you're between jobs?
Pomolle. Kyllä.
Well, we both know that's not true. But I like it. Sam. That's your cover now. So, the job. Dorota Shaw. 21, accomplished cellist, redhead. Strangled. I know who did it, and I need proof. It's for tarot readers.
Tarot readers. Dorota Shaw.
Yes. Keep up, Sam. That's the girl who was murdered? Because I predicted it. The older one, Bronwyn, she came into my office last night talking all crazy and saying Dorota was in trouble. I did my best not to lock her up. It all sounded crazy to me. Tarot, the spirit world, cards that move, trans-dimensional thingamajigs. To be honest, I thought she'd been smoking something. And that's why I didn't take it seriously. Because I don't have enough on her. That's where you come in. The free guest house stay isn't free. I need you to work the case and report back to me. Find out things from the inside. Can you do it?
Kyllä onnistuu. Totta kai mä selvitän murhaajan heti.
I'll be telling everyone that you've been hired by the Shaws because obviously local law enforcement is either too incompetent or too overworked to solve anything. That gives you a license to talk to people, but only notionally. Don't actually touch people or annoy them. You don't have any real authority to stand, but you help me out, I'll help you.
Eikä mulla ole auktoriteettia. Mutta anna mun toi merkki ja ase heti.
You don't get that. No. There's no badge and gun, just a hope and a promise. Come and find me when you're settled.
No ase pitäisi
olla. It's a second chance Sunday for you, Sam.
Ei koskaan tiedä minkälaisia hämäriä hiippareita sieltä tulee niskaan. Sä Dorotasta tiedät.
She was a cellist, selected for a scholarship at Juilliard. It was in the local paper. I'm more of a Bon Jovi fan myself.
Bon Jovi? No, Bon Jovi on kyllä hyvä bändi. Koska se tapettiin.
Don't read the paper, do you? Yesterday, Monday the 9th at approximately 9 p.m. according to the coroner, we got a call from the mother just after 10 p.m.
10 jälkeen. Okei. Missä se tapettiin?
In her bedroom. She was naked. Strangled. No signs of sexual activity of any kind. It was a weird scene to look at. There was one thing, but it's strictly between you and me. Dorota had a gold coin in her mouth. I'm being serious now, Sam. Not a word of this.
Kultakolikko tappaja.
Only the killer would know.
On kyllä. Niinpä, on se vähän mysteeristä. Olis sen pitänyt vähän seksiä kai tehdä. Onko sulla alibi viime yöllä?
Do I have an alibi for last night? Do I?
Joo.
Okay.
Mä veikkaan, että sä tapoit sen.
And there are video monitors that will prove it.
En usko.
You're ruling me out, genius.
Väitätkö sä, että mä oon tyhmä vai? Laat. No, mitäs sä Violetista?
Boy here runs the local guest house. Lovely lady. Where are you going with this, Sam? What's she told you?
Sä alat kuulostaa vähän epäilyttävältä nyt kyllä. Aika sus kyllä. Pretty sus tyyppi. Sanoisin.
She told you she's taking pills, didn't she? Let me handle Violet. She didn't kill anyone.
Hyvin erikoisia pillereitä. Mitäs
tiedät? Not much. Perhaps you should do some investigation?
No mä ajattelin, että sä olisit kertonut sen tappajan henkilöllisyyden mulle.
Not much. Perhaps you should do some investigation?
No hepe.
One of the main things you have to consider when you're walking on a tightrope. Not that you would know, Poe, obviously, or maybe you do.
No, I hardly ever. I'm in control. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, there is. The stakes are high.
Minäs morjistaa Violettia.
I assume you've been to see Chief DuPont already.
Chief. Pomo sanoi, että sä otat jonkinlaisia pillejä.
I take clozapine. I think they're for anxiety. I'm a very anxious person.
Clozapiinia vai?
I don't know, Dr. Sam. You tell me.
Mitäs muita vieraita täällä on?
They're tarot readers. I'm thinking of asking them to leave, actually.
Kaikki tänne vaan. Kaikki heittelee kortteja ympäriinsä. No älä
Demands already? I'm only thinking of doing it.
Niin, mutta ne on kaikki... No, aika susseja kaikki. Mun mielestä. Sanoo heti, että en mä sitä tehnyt. Mitäs sä teet viime yönä?
It's the strangest thing. I honestly don't remember.
Et muista, kun tapoit sen.
I imagine I was here or getting groceries somewhere.
Mutta mistä? Mistä sä hait niitä? Onko sä ollut Dorotan talolla?
I've driven by it. Never actually been in it.
Tiesitkö sä Dorota?
Not really. I'm sure she was a precious lamb, though.
Arvoisa lammas oikein.
Yes, a lamb. Young.
Bää.
Innocent. Lambs get slaughtered, though. Don't they?
Nyt sä oot aika sussi, kun tollaan puhut.
Nice, yes, that's a good description. Actually, I thought she was a bit slutty, to be honest.
Ihan lutkakin vielä. Kuulostaa siltä, että sulla on tietynlainen motiivi. Sä olet mustasukkainen hänen seksuaalisista valloituksista. Olisikin se asia. Ja mitä sä sähläät niillä sormillas tossa? Aika sussia nyt.
I'm gossiping. I don't want to talk ill of the dead. Ask her boyfriend.
Kuka oli sen poikaystävä? Mistä mä löydän sen?
Oscar lives at the vicarage next to the church. Don't tell him I sent you, though. I'm sure he's sick of seeing people already.
Onko siellä paljonkin porukkaa käynyt?
It's not people hugging, it's not combat, it's actually a man grabbing the heart of a woman directly.
Sam, is it? I'm sensing you're not here for a reading.
Ja mä oon täällä ihan toisella tarkoituksella. Wink wink. Ei vaan. Mä
Chief DuPont thinks I did it. I'm hoping you'll convince him otherwise.
Ja miksi sun pitäis niin?
All I'm asking is that you dig a little deeper than the chief. I had nothing to do with Dorota's death.
Sä ennustit sen murhan kuitenkin.
We saw danger in the cards and we tried to stop it. Trust me, Sam, we're on the same team.
Ehkä se oli... Ehkä se oli tämä. Mikä tää termi nyt oli? En mä muista.
We saw it in the cards, not images, feelings, impressions. Tarot can be very powerful.
Mä kysyt vaan sitten suoraan, että kuka se tappoi.
They only tell us what they want us to know.
Missä oli teillä
In my room reading, I found a trashy romance novel under the bed. I'm assuming it's Violet's. It's all swooning heroines and brooding vampire Casanovas. Thank God Lexi saved me.
Heroiini ja vampyyreitä kirjassa. Siis sä et lähtenyt huoneesta.
No, not at all. Lexi popped in and we chatted for a bit, but that's all.
Onko ihan varma? Ja
ajattelin, että Violetta vähän tommonen. Look at this place. If her guest house is anything to go by, Violet's the opposite of trashy.
Edes toinen vaan sellainen sanoo. Tässä on vähän ristiriitaista tietoa. Toinen sanoo, että se on lutka ja toinen sanoo, että ei, se on ihan jees tyyppi.
And also there's some color on there as well. I think it's like a green. It's like green paint with some engraving on it.
Yes, what kind of
You must be a new guest. Or you're burglaring us.
Joo, tuli värryästä.
I'm Rain, by the way.
Niin joo, ei saanut koskettaa ketään. Joten eipäs tehdä sillain.
I heard you say earlier your name's Sam.
Joo,
You don't look like a Sam.
No miltä Samin pitäisi näyttää? samanlaiselta kuin sä vai? Mitäs sä tiedät Dorotasta?
I didn't know her. I know she was called Dorota Shaw. She was young, had red hair, a talented musician.
Vähän lutkahko.
Next victim? Whoa! Hold on a sec, we don't even know if there's going to be a next victim or not. We'll do another group reading soon, and then we'll have a better idea.
Group reading. Eli onko täällä kaikki niinku selvänäköitä? Eikö sitä?
We did a reading. A group reading, actually. With a special tarot deck.
Mikäs semmonen ryhmän lukeminen on?
The three of us get together and read the same cards. Bronwyn says it makes the whole thing stronger or more powerful or something. But I'm pretty sure I'd get the same answers just on my own.
Menette yhteen, niin tulkitsette eri tavalla kortteja. Koetatte sillä saada teorian, että kuka sen tappoi. Selvä.
Mercury? It's not exactly from here. With a normal tarot deck, you'd have the question, so you'd be the querent. With Mercury, it gives you the question and the answer. The cards themselves kind of change. It's a special deck.
Mystically change. Voinko mä nähdä sen Mercury?
I don't have it at the moment. Bronwyn has it.
Bronwynilla. Pitääkin mennä kysyä siltä sitä
I was in my room. Praying, actually. I don't believe in God, but I was still praying. It didn't work.
Et usko Jumalaan, mutta sä rukoilet kuitenkin. Miksi? Mihinkä sä uskot?
I don't believe in anything. But I also believe anything is possible, so it's a conundrum.
Mille sä rukoilit? On erikoista. Kaikki on vähän sussia täällä.
Perhaps.
Juurista on leksiä.
Hi, Sam, is it? Come on in, make yourself at home. Mi casa es su casa. Come on.
Nyt mä löysin sen vähän lutkahkon henkilön täältä.
I don't know anyone in this town, except for Bronwyn and Rain, obviously, and Violet, and the Chief, and now you. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous.
Ehkä sulle pitäisi niitä ahdistuslääkkeitä tuoda. En voi vielä vaihtaa. Tiedätkö,
Good old-fashioned fortune telling. Well, kind of. We drew a card each and smushed them all together. Do you know what the most dangerous tarot card is?
Onnellinen orava.
You've done your research. The happy squirrel was vague and mysterious, but not evil.
Miksei? Kuulostaa aika saakeli pahalta. Ja mikä se on?
The Five of Swords. I think so anyway. There's nothing more dangerous than someone taking whatever they want, no matter the cost.
Viitosten miekka. Viitosten miekka Dorotalle.
Yeah, I did. Rain got the Knight of Wands, that's Dorota, and Bronwyn got the Ten of Swords, which is, well, you know, swords in general are bad.
Mä en ole oikein ymmärtänyt, mutta...
She's like my big sister, so pretty well.
Aika hyvin. Uskotko, että hän tappoi Dorotan?
No.
Ja kuka sen sitten tappoi? Kertokaa nyt joku mulle. Miksi sä tänään
The cards told us to. Well, the cards of Rain. Tarot gives us a rough direction and he narrows it down with some astrological jiggery pokery. It's basically a walking esoteric library. And if that sounds dull, let me reassure you, it is.
Niin sä teet vaan kaikkea, mitä ne kortit kertoo sulle.
No. Well, yeah. Well, no. We have a job to do.
Mutta kyllä oikeastaan. Mutta joo, meillä on työ täällä.
I didn't say job. I said job.
Mikä hemmetti on jobi? Oliko se sun työ tappaa Dorota? Oliko?
Okay. We make a cheese obelisk, a job, And depending on the shape of that job, we get different answers to questions.
Juusto-obeliski. Kuulostaa hemmetin jännältä. Nyt mä vähän veikkaan, että sä vaan keksit asioita omasta päästäsi.
No, you don't.
No, mitä sä
I was in my room all night with Bronwyn. We were painting our nails.
Manikyyriä. Kuulostaapa sievältä. Näytäs sun kyntäs.
No, I mean, yeah. I've already cleaned it off.
Joten sä et voi todistaa, että sä otit manikyyriä. Selvä.
No.
I mean, we could just name every country you've ever had on the show.
Do you remember the queen who was undressing? It's from there, Egypt.
Undressing queen.
From Egypt.
Yes. So.
Sitten voitais mennä Bronwynille. Voinko nähdä sen Mercury-tarotin?
Mercury?
Niin, eikö
Sure.
se ole semmonen?
I'll just get it.
Ai se.
It feels a bit sacrilegious just spreading it out to show you. It doesn't really answer questions, it more asks them.
Spread it out.
Do you want it to ask you a question, Sam?
Joo, toki.
It wants to know if you're happy being the person you are now.
No, enpä oikeastaan.
Mercury agrees with you. It's nice that you're being honest with me and with yourself.
Violetille. Sulla ei mitään. Okei. Bronwynille me käytiin. Reinille. Sulla ei mitään. Mitä se nyt? Lexi. Sulla ei ole yhtään mitään asiaa. Selvä. No, mennään sitten meidän omaan huoneeseen.
Find somewhere safe to transition. You're not a superhero.
Nyt me päästään vaihtaa joksikin henkilöksi. Jos toi.
Hello, I'm Violet. I'm Violet.
Nyt ei ehkä kannata mennä sitten Violetille juttelee. Päälisen.
Hello, Violet. Is everything okay? Ignore the mess. I was just going to tidy it up.
Did you have a pleasant evening last night? Did you have a pleasant evening last night?
Onpas kiva ilta eilen.
Great, thanks. The room's really lovely.
But you weren't. I didn't see you around yesterday evening.
En nähnyt sua eilen.
I stayed here. I was playing solitaire with Bronwyn.
You weren't. Isn't solitaire for one player?
Yeah, I was playing and she was scoring.
Että se on niin vaikeeta niinku yksin laskea niitä tuloksia siitä. Selvä. Lexi. Oho. Ei tolle pitää. Me käytiin. Reina.
Mrs. Gallagher. An unexpected pleasure.
Ootaks sä
How
jotain?
long are you planning to be here?
In town? I really don't know. Until the tarot tells us to leave. Or you kick us out, obviously.
How did you know Dorota was going to die? Why do you think the police suspect Bronwyn?
Now that's a very good question. Logically speaking, you'd assume all three of us were in on it. Or none of us.
Ehkä te kaikki kolme tapoitte sen.
You don't trust me, do you, Violet? Is it because I read tarot?
Joo, kyllä.
Why don't you let me pull a card for you?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Great. What do you want to know about?
Sam. The murder. My love life. Sam.
Sam.
The moon. A card of illusion and deception. It shines, but really it's just a dusty old rock. Seems there's more to our detective friend than meets the eye. Yes, thank you.
Ehkä se valehteli
I didn't see you yesterday evening.
En nähnyt kyllä sua eilen.
I stayed in my room. You can ask Lexi. That reminds me, I think I found a book of yours. It's called He Came Through the Shadows.
He came.
What makes you think it's mine?
Your name's written on the inside cover.
Oppista, niin mä kirjoitin sen. Okei, no. Se kyllä kertoo paljon. Lexi vai? Niin sulla ei ollut mitään, okei. Rain. Onko sulla mitään uutta? Ei ole. Bronwyn? Ehkä poliisi tietää jotain.
What's going on, Violet? Is everything okay?
No, I'm not okay.
I know.
What's the matter?
I think I might be the killer. The new detective's acting strangely.
You can feel safe. I've already got somebody posted outside the guest house. It's an unmarked car. But you know Danny, don't you? Leyland's kid? Any problems, you let him know. Off you go. I'm being subtle. I don't want to see you back here, okay? You got anything to report, give me a call. Any problems, talk to Danny. Danny, remember?
Joo.
I remember.
Danny?
We just talked about this. I said I'd post somebody this morning, and I did. Then I told you it was Danny. Take the pills, Violet. Take the pills.
Joo, otetaan pillerit. Mutta mistä tiedät, että kyseessä on Violet? Vaihdetaan hahmoa. On se. Sitten. Mitäs tuolla?
Hi, I'm Lexi. I'm Lexi.
Täällä on varovainen, ettei puhuta itteemme pussiin tässä. Se voisi olla vähän nolo.
Hello, Lexi. What can I do for you?
Please don't ask us to leave. The police want alibis from everyone for last night.
Well, I don't have one. I literally can't remember what I was doing.
Please don't ask us to leave.
Älä pyydä, että mä
Have you been speaking to Sam? You're safe for the minute.
That sounds ominous.
Kuulostaa oudolta.
If one of your crew did murder Dorota, you can't really stay here, can you?
Ei me murattu ketään, ehkä. Morjesta, Evan. Mitäs sinne kuuluu? Onko tullut paljon lunta? Violet, oho. Käytiin tuolla pölyttämässä. Eipäs mennä enää.
What's up, Lexi? I'm sensing something's on your mind.
Jotakin on mielessä.
I'm worried about our alibi.
Mä oon vähän huolissani kyllä meidän
Don't worry about
alipeista.
that. We don't have anything to hide. You're just fine.
Do you think Sam suspects?
Maybe. But it'll be difficult to prove.
Very sus. Verisus. Verisus. Epäileekö Sam mitään? Mitä me ollaan tehty Dorotan murhan kanssa? Elikkä se saattaa olla Lexi tai sitten Bronwyn. Mielenkiintoista. On ihan riittävästi. Laitoin penskan tekee lumit. Niin ja se on jo siinä iässä, että voi pistää vähän kotiorjaksit.
Something's weird.
Rain.
Bron seems strange today.
How are you?
Yes, Bronilla on.
Do you think Bronwyn might get falsely imprisoned? It happens all the time.
Are you looking to take over?
Tapahtuu jatkuvasti.
No. I'm just worried.
Huolissas. Okei. No. Mennäänpäs huoneeseen. Sitten me voitais muuttua. Bronwyniksi. Zip.
Hi, I'm Bronwyn.
Joo, 4-vuotiaana on hyvä, kun ottaa leikkinä tuommoiset pienet askarit, niin saa hyvin opetettua sen tekee näitä lumihommia. Nyt vois mennä tulee Lexialle vähän juttelee. Katsoo, saadaanko me siitä irti jotain.
I'm not okay.
En oo.
Well, if you're worried, I should be worried. Why are you worried? Should I be worried?
Joo.
Are you worried?
Onko sä
Only if you
huolissas?
are. This could go on in circles for a while. Let's just keep cool and stay in our rooms.
Only if you are. Kyllä nyt kuulostaa Bronwyni vähän epäilyttävältä oikeastaan. Tästä koko kaksikosta. Jos Violetille juttelee.
Is there something I can help with, Miss Castle?
I hope we're not being too much trouble.
Eikä meistä liikaa ongelmaa ole.
It's very brave of you to tell the chief that Dorota will be murdered and then stick around afterwards. I'd have run for sure.
You strike me as someone braver than that.
Miksi mä juoksin?
You're prime suspect, aren't you? You look strong enough to strangle another woman. Even if you're innocent, a jury would probably convict you.
You look strong enough to strangle another woman too.
Aikuinen nainen.
Well,
Niin.
if you can't pay for your rooms, you might just find out.
Niinkö? Poistetaan. Sitten mennään puhumaan Rainilla.
Bron, something doesn't feel right.
Mikä ei kun
I don't know what exactly, but it's not right.
Niin.
Thoughts on Dorota?
Well, it's hard to say with just one victim. Musical talent, red hair. If there's another, there will be a pattern. Do you think it's another right?
Toinen riittää.
A right?
Right.
A right?
Right.
A right? 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 A right?
Right.
As in the same thing we were chasing after in Birmingham? I suppose it doesn't really matter. Just have to try and stop it.
Yritetään ja
Birmingham?
lopetetaan.
Stop.
Yes, stop it. If it's a traveller killing things.
Traveller?
Traveler killing things.
Bron, you're acting
Ups,
weird.
nyt me mokattiin kyllä.
Are you still you?
Joo.
No. Of course.
Of course I
Freaking
am.
me out. It's not cool in this current climate.
Missä ilmastossa? Tiedetäänkö täällä enemmänkin muodonmuuttajista vai? Mentiinkö me Lexille? Ei mentiin. Oh. Violet? Eikö mentiin jo? Sitten mentiin jo Rainillekin juttelemaan.
The ramp. My thumb caresses the safety, ensuring it's off. As I reach the steel wall, the garage plunges into total darkness. The sirens wheeze to a halt before my eyes can adjust. The emergency lighting kicks in. How the hell she managed that, I have no idea. The door from the west stairwell crashes open. I raise Jimmy's gun, but she's in cover before I can aim. She weaves her way around wrecked cars, drawing even closer. My first shot goes wide.
Miss Castle. I'm surprised to see you here.
Kyllä. Neitä Castle.
You didn't kill Dorota.
You're a prime suspect. And your alibi is that you were in the guest house with another prime suspect at the time. It doesn't look good for you.
Have you got a problem with me?
Everyone has a problem with you, Bronwyn. I can arrest you for something right now. How does perverting the course of justice sound?
Kinky.
Aika kinkiltä kuulostaa.
Oh, you are pushing me today, young lady.
Kinky.
Fail, and I slide my back against the steel. Jimmy's empty gun falls to the floor. All that's left is my sobbing and the sprinklers. Until Emma slowly rises. Welcome to Poe's Curiosity Shop.
Se on se. Sitten leikitään vähän. Pomolla ei ole leikitty kauheasti.
Hi, I'm Chief DuPont.
Minä olen DuPont.
Oh, but I'm not sure.
What animal do you think it might be?
Who knows whether you've made the right decision or not, Claude?
Minkä?
How's Bronwyn? What were you doing? How's Bronwyn been?
Overly nice. She's covering her tracks well if she has anything to hide.
What was it I asked you to do again?
You just told me to report back to you if I noticed anything suspicious. Good grief, Claude. You're a bit young to be losing your marbles already.
Onko me jatkuvasti näin epäilyttäviä?
What were you doing last night?
Sä teit viimeinen.
Claude, we've been through this. I honestly don't remember. I checked my diary and there's no entry, so I was probably here, as always.
How could you not remember, Violet?
I don't know. Which is exactly what I said in my statement. Don't try and get me to contradict myself.
Dreams
and nightmares.
with Poe and Monroe. So we've just had a dream come in from Lena. Well, if I'm
Chief DuPont, what a pleasant surprise. I think we've covered just about everything twice over, but if you think I'm hiding something...
Who are you really, Bronwyn Castle?
Does it bother you, Chief DuPont, knowing there are things in this world that aren't black and white? You don't know what to file me under, and that makes you uncomfortable. Or perhaps you've already made up your mind about me. Why don't you tell me who you think I am?
You're a con artist.
I haven't asked anyone for a penny.
They're all these different aspects of her life.
Oh, Chief Inspector, you gave me a shock. What is it? What have I done?
Tell me about Bronwyn.
She's an Aquarius, her favourite colour is green. What else do you need to know?
Is she your leader? Are you prepared to go to jail for her?
Onko valmis menee sen puolesta vankilaan?
Jail? What for? I haven't done anything wrong.
I don't need a reason.
You can't just arrest us about evidence. We have
Oikeuksia.
rights and stuff. And Ron won't let you.
Onko Broni niin kova nainen, että se estää vai? Sä teet Augustissa.
Well, it's not for the nightlife, I can tell you that. This is where the cards told us to go. I guess you could call it
Kuppilailla
destiny.
mä en varmaan ole kauhean
Do you know anyone here?
kovaa täällä Augustissa. Tiedätkö ketään täällä?
No, I can honestly swear I don't know any Augustives? Augustins until we got
Älä
here.
puhu paskaa.
What were you doing
Tarkoitin
last night?
Augustusta, tätä kaupunkia, missä juuri ollaan. Mutta chatti, mitäs teillä on? Nyt on uusi vuosi lähtenyt käyntiin. On tehty paljon lupauksia.
What were you doing last night?
Mitäs teit
Nothing.
viime yönä?
I mean, I was here all night. The scat's on her. Ron can vouch for me.
Demanding purr drilling into his ribcage through her paws. He lifted a numb hand and rubbed her cheek. Sleep.
Sleep now.
Feebly delivered. Uni's reply, a loud and indignant meow.
Meow.
Ivan sat up, scooped Uni to the floor, and pulled on the t-shirt. She waited.
Good evening, Chief Dupont.
No morjesta, Rein.
Dorota's
Mitäs
family.
menee?
What does the tarot say about them?
Mitäs Taros sanoo Dorota
I can do
perheestä?
a reading if you want.
No tee nyt sitten.
Yeah.
It's the Five of Cups. It talks about loss and dealing with that loss. I don't think you need a tarot reader to interpret that one.
Bronwyn never been arrested?
Not since I've met her. She's a lawful, good type character.
Ja,
Who
DD.
play D&D.
Lexi ever been in trouble with the police? Have you
Onko
ever been in
sulla
trouble with
ollut
the police?
mitään juttuja poliisin kanssa aikaisemmin?
I've never been convicted. No.
Been charged with anything?
My mind's gone blank.
Mistä teeskentele tietämätöntä.
Flap didn't seem to be moving. These were all good signs. White fur. What is
Ei Lexi. Ei
a
mitään.
rat? A cat. Smaller than a cat.
Kitty
A kitten.
cats.
Ivan stared at Uni. She circled the kitten's body, stepping over its limp legs without even looking.
Mennä pomoon,
Her eyes fixed on him.
Mä laitan nyt käydä kyllä ehkä kaikki läpi nyt. Mennään tolla vielä. Katsotaan, olisiko kellään uutta
Hello,
sanottavaa.
I'm Violet. I'm Violet.
Violet.
Its front paws, trying to drag itself up. It's
Koska Bronwynilla mitään? Ei.
no. Ivan dropped down next to the kitten. Shh. Tears blurred his vision.
Okei.
He stroked the kitten
Mä
with the
veikkaan, että me muututaan takaisin Samiksi.
But the kitten wouldn't stop struggling, suffering. Ivan clenched the towel, then draped it over the kitten's head. He stood and raised his foot.
Takaisin Samiksi. Sitten mennään
The
juttelemaan.
kitten's skull was softer than he expected. It caved easily,
Minä
the thin bones crackling.
Jos sulla on
Bolt
mitään.
stuck to his
Ei.
heel as he lifted it, unveiling the bloody.
Violet.
No. No more talking. No more.
Questions! Question after question after question. I didn't kill Dorota. I didn't even know the girl. And yet here I am being constantly asked about her. You know what? I'm going out. I don't know when I'm going to be back, but if you need anything, I will be back eventually.
Onko siinä seuraava murhan uhri?
But for now, TTFN.
TTFN. Mitä tarkoittaa TTFN?
Until Uni stopped pacing and sat grudgingly opposite him. Until the blood slowed and started to dry. Finally, he shifted onto his knees and lifted the kitten in both hands.
Bronwyn? Sulla mitään? Ei.
He left the towel on the floor. He'd need it.
Rain? Sullakaan mitään.
Partly as an apology, partly so he would... In soft pursuit. Nola was awake. Not even she.
It's 6 o'clock and you're listening to Radio August. Police investigating the murder of Dorota Shaw are appealing to the community to help catch her killer. The body of 21-year-old Miss Shaw, an accomplished cellist, was found in her home last night. Police are describing the murder as a violent and despicable act. Monroe.
It's just terrible. Meanwhile, out of respect for the victim and her family, this weekend's Tulip Festival has been postponed. New dates will be announced shortly, so do stay tuned to Radio August for updates.
I heard Dorota Shaw was due to play this weekend.
At the Tulip Festival?
Indeed. I understand why they'd want to postpone it. Tonight the weather will be mostly dry and warm, but be on the lookout for dark clouds on the horizon, as there may be scattered showers. Best take an umbrella, Monroe, so you don't get wet.
I like getting wet. That's 6 o'clock with Poe and Monroe.
I like getting wet. Is that so? Investigate.
Now, what could the object have just handed to you?
No, siellä pomolle juttelee.
It is, and that's where it's staying. You don't need to see it, Sam. Violet can get confused at times. Just keep doing what you're doing and we'll get along fine.
Mitäs me tiedetään?
Pains me to think that I was even on the list, but I'm ruled out because we have video footage of me in the station at the time of the murder. Rain says he was praying in his room, alone. Nobody corroborates. Bronwyn and Lexi say they were in the same room last night. Shame they can't agree which one. The tarot readers have mentioned a job. We don't know what. Violet says she doesn't remember last night, and you found out she's taking pills. Perhaps they're related. That's it.
Ehkä ne pillerit olisi saattanut antaa sulle jonkinlaista muistihäiriöä. Mahdollisesti.
That's incredible.
Näs. Seuraavaan osaan. Mutta mä täällä käyn pikku paussia
Welcome
tässä.
to Poe's Curiosity Shop.
Nähdään aivan justiinsa.
Okay, Alice, this is what I brought in today. What do you think it is?
Oh, wow.
Tell the listeners a bit more about what the object is that I brought in today.
So it's quite small, fits in the palm of your hand, and it's a small man wearing robes, and he looks like he's in quite a lot of pain.
Yes.
Okay.
Where could he be from, this man?
I'm not sure, actually. He's maybe a Buddhist?
Yeah, could be, yes.
What
would you say is his profession?
Something religious, I suppose. He's wearing robes. He's wearing a monk, yes.
Well done.
But why is he in pain?
Very good question. I can answer that for you. It's a porcelain figure, ancient Chinese, seated and howling.
Oh.
It's called the Screaming Monk. Legend has it that this monk, called Busan, accidentally glimpsed Queen Anchisenamun undressing, the wife of King Tut. The king ordered that Busan be shrunk by mystics, and the process caused the pain you see on his face. These tattoos are a reminder that some things are best left unseen. Several were made, apparently. But as far as I can tell, I have the only one.
Well, I wish I hadn't seen this.
Poe's Curiosity Shop is now closed.
You're listening to Radio August, Dark Nights with Poe and Monroe.
The Bag Lady by David F. Schultz, read by Venomous Platypus. Breathing seems so loud when you want to stay hidden. Time oozed like molasses, cowering in the closet, peering through the crack. It floated there in the center of the loft. The Bag Lady. If it moved on, maybe escape was possible, but it just floated in the middle of the empty room, eerily silent. The vacant penthouse had a hallucinatory quality. Dimly lit in blue, through the tall glass windows that spanned the wall were many distant pinpricks of white, the lights of the city. It was cold. The room gave the impression of a fish tank, with twilight blue through the long windows and the Bag Lady floating, as if suspended in currents of unseen water. The Bag Lady changed form, not just undulations of hair or clothes, but a subtle morphing. The robes were fish scales, briefly, but again becoming cloth. The draggled hair was seaweed, then tentacles, each topped with an eyeball, only they weren't, except for a moment. The head was a monstrous mouth of some deep-sea horror, ringed with row on row of teeth, too impossibly large to fit in the room, and yet, there it was, until it wasn't. Altering its form like camouflage, playing with the images and thoughts all called from its victims, there it floated, and then it turned to face me. Run or die, the door gave way from the stumbling push, and there was a long expanse of the room. Footsteps echoed on wood, the spinal shiver of pursuit up by a nightmare. A cold gaze grasped at my back. The air was thickened mud. Limbs slowed with each straining step. And then, stuck. I accepted my fate, hoped it would be over quickly. A blink, and there it was, clutching my shoulders with spider-like fingers. Black, eyeless sockets led straight into its mind. A cold, dark tunnel, and at the bottom a mirage. Those teeth, that carnivorous circular maw, closing down like a spiked coffin. The vision vanished, and an alternative to death was offered. It wouldn't eat me, at least for now. It needed help with its camouflage. A human mind to wear, like a shell for a hermit crab. I agreed to help the Bag Lady with its disguise. Yes, I agreed to help. I thought to the Bag Lady that it will do no good for its disguise to float, since human beings don't float, except in water, and its disguise would be less unsettling if it had eyes, and were less of a corpse. But the entity did not understand the concept of water or air, floating or standing, living or dead. These things were all alien to it and meaningless.
Yes, jatketaan.
Its present form was an approximation of its first victim, a homeless lady named Bethany. Bethany had lived
It's 6 o'clock and you're listening to Radio August. Police investigating the murder of Dorota Shaw are appealing to the community to help catch her killer. The body of 21-year-old Miss Shaw, an accomplished cellist, was found in her home last night. Police are describing the murder as a violent and despicable act. Monroe.
It's just terrible. Meanwhile, out of respect for the victim and her family, this weekend's Tulip Festival has been postponed. New dates will be announced shortly, so do stay tuned to Radio August for updates.
I heard Dorota Shaw was due to play this weekend.
At the Tulip Festival.
Indeed. I understand why they'd want to postpone it. Tonight the weather will be mostly dry and warm, but be on the lookout for dark clouds on the horizon, as there may be scattered showers. Best take an umbrella, Monroe, so you don't get wet.
I like getting wet. That's 6 o'clock with Poe and Monroe.
Semmoinen radio show.
Its bile-stained mouth over my own and regurgitated a worm-like thing, no thicker than its fingers, but longer. Involuntary gags, reflexive struggling. As the worm wriggled around my tongue and throat.
Lexi?
Go down, but up into my nasal cavity. And
Right.
Panic. And gradually, as the worm settled, panic made way for dread. The worm was inside my skull, inside my brain. The bag lady drifted back to the center of the room.
Violet?
Free to go,
Violet.
along with the worm.
Violet
To observe
lähti
for the
menee.
bag lady. To do.
Miksi lähti Violetti menee? Missä se on Violetti? Näkitäs Violetti.
Hello, I'm Violet. I'm Violet.
Violet.
New life with the bag lady's worm inside my brain.
My problem.
Not this one. The worm had to be told incessantly.
Jos Reini, ei sullakaan ole mitään uutta.
On the sidewalk. Not this one. The worm had to be told.
Jos Lexi, ei sullakaan ole mitään. No,
I looked into the eyes of the people I spoke with, and they looked into mine.
Menikö
And
tää
the worm
seuraavaan
looked
tohon?
at us both.
Chiefikin on poissa.
And maybe the people sensed it. Sensed something was wrong, just behind my eyes. But they didn't comprehend the true horror. The bag lady.
Huoneeseen. Palataan Samiksi.
In hand and smelled of urine. The worm probed, and the worm did not hear the usual refrain. Not.
It's 6 o'clock, and you're listening to Radio August. Police investigating the murder of Dorota Shaw are appealing to the community to help catch her killer. The body of 21-year-old Miss Shaw, an accomplished cellist, was found in her home last night. Police are describing the murder as a violent and despicable act. Monroe.
It's just terrible. Meanwhile, out of respect for the victim and her family, this weekend's Tulip Festival has been postponed. New dates will be announced shortly, so do stay tuned to Radio August for updates.
I heard Dorota Shaw was due to play this weekend.
At the Tulip Festival?
Indeed. I understand why they'd want to postpone it. Tonight the weather will be mostly dry and warm, but be on the lookout for dark clouds on the horizon, as there may be scattered showers. Best take an umbrella, Monroe, so you don't get wet.
I like getting wet. That's 6 o'clock with Poe and Monroe.
And we went to the top floor of that building, to the empty penthouse lair, to the room bathed in...
Any more news on Oscar Wainwright? Just the tarot readers. No one else is remotely suspicious compared to them.
Varma. Ehkä se oli Violetti, koska se lähti hiippailemaan pois.
Dorota's an only child. She lived with her mum and dad. Monday night was movie night, so they'd go and watch the 8 o'clock at the Odeon. Dorota would get the house to herself. They're devastated, naturally. They left town to stay with relatives. They didn't do it, Sam. Although, perhaps I should have made them stay.
Ehkä. Sä voit soittaa mun selloa joka päivä.
Rain says he was praying in his room, alone. Nobody corroborates. Bronwyn and Lexi say they were in the same room last night. Shame they can't agree which one. The tarot readers mentioned Birmingham. You're looking into it.
Birmingham?
There's some talk about a traveller, whatever that is. Dorota's boyfriend Oscar is in the clear as far as I'm concerned, but I'm still waiting to hear what he tells you. Violet says she doesn't remember last night, but that's it.
She told me to shoot her, so I did.
Who are you?
No Sam. Sä pyysit mua tutkimaan murhaa.
Right, because the local police are so rubbish. It's been a day, a whole day. It's typical of them.
Kuinka kauan sä deittailit Dorotan kanssa?
Not long, a couple of months maybe. We did care for each other.
Mitä ideaa kuka voisi tehdä tän hänellä?
No one. She was really popular.
Was se suosittu vai? Näinkö Dorotaa eilen?
Yeah, I went round there in the afternoon. Her parents were at work. And we were, hanging out.
Sitten
I
mä
left at about
murhasin se
5.
5. Mitäs sä olit 9?
Playing football. It was just 5 aside. Finished at about 9:30. I called her, but she never picked up. Not much. They always seemed happy to see me. I don't think they meant it. They wanted Dorota to focus on her music.
Ehkä se murhaaja oli vielä piilossa Dorotan huoneessa.
What, you mean watching us? That's disturbing.
Joo.
No,
Ehkä
it couldn't have been.
Lexi.
The only place he could have hidden would be in the closet, and I suppose someone could have hidden in the closet.
Onko se ollut piilossa?
Not hidden. Well, she liked it. Liked me to watch. Not other guys. She had these, voyeur fantasies.
Ei nyt varmaan. Varmasti tykkäs siitä, että sä katsele, kun sä puuhissa toisten miesten kanssa. Kerros fantasioista.
She'd ask me to hide in the upstairs closet.
Erikoisia
And then she'd
fantasioita.
walk in, strip off, start touching herself. She got upset if I came out before she'd finished. Sorry, is this helping with the investigation?
Kyllä tää auttaa hyvin paljon. Mitäs siellä kaapissa on?
Clothes, mainly. I did see something that freaked me out a bit. She had a wedding dress in there. She knew I'd seen it, but we never talked about it. Not even as a joke.
Ehkä odotti päältä
Family behind me. Believe me now? I know that voice. I turn and see Vanessa upright on the couch, just like before I shot her. I believe you, I say, looking at my gun.
Violet. Uskotko, että Oscar
son. No, as far as I can tell, Oscar is a good boy. But we've all got different faces now, haven't we, Sam?
On aina epäilyttäviä. Erilaisia naamoja.
The masks we wear. I could be a satanic cultist behind closed doors, but you'd never know. Would you, Sam?
Ehkä. Ehkä sä olet muodonmuuttaja myös. Miksi joku tappaisi Dorotan? Hetkinen, eikös Violetti lähtenyt viimeksi kävelemään täältä?
She flaunts herself. Her body. Had boudoir photographs taken. Who do you think those photos were for, Sam? Her mother?
Joo. Ehkä se tykkäsi ottaa vessakuvia äitille. Ei näistä koskaan tiedä. Killes ne oli? Oscarilla vai?
Ask Zach Weston. He took them.
Zach Weston. Okay.
Zach's the local photographer. You should go and talk to him, Sam. You're good at talking.
Totta. Olen hyvä puhumaan.
At Weston's photographic? Off the high road? It's late, but he's always there.
Mitäs sä sen tiedät?
I have a good memory. I'm still holding grudges from when I was 4.
And it has 3 circles attached. But I'm not sure.
Mitäs chattailijoilla?
I suppose today you could wear it as a brooch, maybe, or a belt buckle. I'm not sure.
Yeah, why would people in ancient times? Why might people wear this?
But they tie it around themselves, perhaps. Attach it to some leather, maybe.
Brorin. Tunsikko Dorotan poikaystävää?
Yes, he came to see me. He wanted to know that she was okay. Spiritually speaking.
Okay. Kertiko se mitään Dorotasta?
He confided in me quite a bit, actually. He seemed to appreciate having someone to talk to, and he knew I couldn't tell anyone what he said. Oh, Sam. You know I can't do that. Tarot reader client confidentiality.
Onko semmonenkin asia vai? Näetkö sinun, että se oli hänen huoneessa? Viime yönä, ei sun huoneessa.
Oh, she gets easily confused. Youth of today.
Aikaisuus. You're lying.
No, Sam. No, I'm not lying about that. I was in my room, only Lexi, she never came to see me. She was in her room. I could hear her, though. She was shouting at someone.
Miksi sä valehtelit alipistas?
To protect Lexi. None of this is her fault, and she gets anxious easily. I was just trying to take the pressure off. I'm sorry, Sam. I never usually lie.
Entäs Rain?
Rain's a big boy. He can handle himself. Besides, I'd be highly suspicious if Rain claimed to be doing anything else other than reading on a mundane night. That's pretty much what he does every night.
Ihmisiä huvikseen tuo kaupungilla ehkä.
A weapon of combat, but then if I look at it more closely, I would say...
Your ability isn't endless. It will run out at some point.
Oh no. It's Bronwyn. Sitten mennään puhumaan Lexin kanssa.
I'm Bronwyn.
Kysytään siltä, että kumpi oli huoneessa.
But it was used for teleportation.
Bron, I'm so glad you're here. We need to talk.
Mistäs?
Is something wrong?
No one can hear us, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm assuming this room isn't bugged, although knowing Violet, there's probably cameras everywhere.
You think Violet's a voyeur?
Ajattelin, että Violetti on vähän samainen. Tykkää katsella.
Probably. I don't know. She has that look about her, don't you think? Like she knows something she's not letting on. I wouldn't be surprised if there's cameras hidden in the wardrobe.
What have you got to hide?
Nothing. Though I'd rather she didn't see me dancing around in my underwear. I only do that for people I love.
Minulle? Yeah.
Do you love me?
Of course I do, Bron. See? And now that's on film. I hope you enjoyed that, Violet. Listen, we need to talk about our alibi.
What about our alibi?
I know you said it would be better if we said we were together, but lying about your alibi, that's pretty serious. Are you sure it was a good idea?
No, lying. We should do whatever it takes. No, lying makes things worse.
Then why'd you tell me to do it? We could have just told the truth. What will happen if they find out we're lying?
They won't. We'll be arrested. They won't find out.
Are you sure?
Ei ne saa selville.
I promise.
Lupaan.
Okay. I guess we just got to stick with our story.
All these different parts have issues or unresolved issues that have not been filled.
Rainilla.
You can tell Sam about Birmingham. What did you tell them?
I told them the truth, that I was in my room. I'm not sure if they can fact check it, but it's the only alibi I've got. Kind of wish we'd all stuck together now.
When should we do another reading? The police think it...
Looks that way. Have you been feeling possessed lately?
Why possessed?
You're kidding, right?
Nope.
You can tell Sam about Birmingham.
Well, what can I tell Sam that you haven't already?
You know Sam likes a fact check.
I don't really know, Sam. But if you're sure, then I guess I'm sure.
If you can wish it, you can do it.
Okei, mennään takas Samiksi. Sitten mennään tonne. Mitä noin? Ravenille.
Arms Wide, read by Adam Day.
Adam Day.
From this height, nighttime London sparkles.
Sam, what can I do for you? We didn't. Lexi used a Ouija board to get the name. It kinda did. It's hard getting an exact name out of 78 cards. But considering we'd never heard of Dorota Shaw, it painted a pretty good picture otherwise.
Eikö sä voi käyttää Ouija-lautaa yksinään?
No. Lexi needs to give it context from the tarot reading. A lot of the time it comes up with nothing. Or a sordid comment directed at Lexi. I think that's why she keeps using it, to be honest.
Missä sä ennen Augusti olit?
We couldn't save anyone there either. The problem with travellers is... Let's put a pin in this one, Sam.
Ei laittaa mitään pinniä sinne.
Let me ask Bronwyn. If she says it's okay to talk about it, it's okay to talk about it. Once we thought there was going to be a murder, Lexi used the Ouija board to find out the victim's name. It spelled out Dorota.
Dorota, ai. Miten se toimii?
Just... This is going to sound weird. Most people believe Ouija boards contact the dead. So if Lexi contacts a dead person, that person needs to know what happens in the future. Ergo, maybe the person she's contacting is from the future. A time traveller who died here.
Aikamatkusta on todellista vai?
Yes. Well, not just time travel, time and space travel is also possible. If we accept the fact there are multiple realities, we must also accept there are others like us who found a way to travel between these realities.
Miksi mainittiin, että sä oot täällä tekemässä touhua?
We're trying to save people.
No ei toimi kyllä kauhean hyvin.
I said we're trying. We have a gift. We have Mercury, the tarot. It tells us where bad things are going to happen, and we try and stop them.
From the Jessica.
Yrittäkää paremmin.
I didn't know where she came from. I was driving my car. Naturally, I slammed on the brakes and attempted to swerve away from
Bronwyn. Sulla mitään? Kerros mulle jotain Ouija-laudasta.
It's Lexi's. I like to think it works the way most metaphysical things work. Through energy.
Energian kautta.
Tarot cards, runes, Ouija boards. They're just devices for asking questions and receiving answers. But energy is what powers them.
Thing in my head was screaming for me to go, to run. No one saw me. No one knew I even went for a drive. I could just run, and God forgive me. Leave her there to be someone else's.
Okay, nice. Oscar.
I'm Oscar. Is there anything else I can do?
The red glow of my brake lights illuminated the lump lying in the road behind me. a body. There was definitely a body. Run. Everything still screamed at me to flee. The feeling in your gut when you know something awful is going to happen and you need to get the fuck out of Dodge before you get caught up in it.
Fuck out of Dodge.
Oscar Wainwright, what a surprise.
Interior lights came on, and the annoying ding sounded to remind. I left my door open as I cautiously walked back. Truly twisted atop the pavement. I wanted to say.
Bronwyn? Mihkä Bronwyn häippäs?
I think I was holding my breath, afraid to get.
Reinkään ei ole missään.
I was certain that it was a smell.
It's Lexi.
Right again. My legs felt like jello as I approached.
Hei, mulla on idea. Mennään Violetiksi. Sitten mennään kiusaa vähän.
Hello, I'm Violet.
Lexi.
I'm Violet.
Violetti.
Myself to the ground. Miss? My voice.
Ei Lexikään ollut täällä.
Trying to retain the masculine depth that was currently hiding.
Bronwyn. Tää on vähän stressaantunut.
Miss, are you okay?
This rain.
I changed your sheets last night, and you weren't here.
That's impossible. I was in that room praying the entire time, and those sheets have definitely not been changed, I can assure you. Are you trying to frame me?
Joo.
She was breathing. Short and shallow breaths. But she was breathing. I looked her over.
Mä ajattelin, että tää voisi olla tässä näin. Väsynyt olo tänään
I clasped my hand over hers, reassuring her.
Kattaa aika seuraavalla kerralla. Mä katsoin, jos mä laitan tosta joku raidipien pyöriin.
Hang on. I'm going to call for help.
Katselijata.
Just please don't die. I tried to stay calm as I pulled my phone from my pocket and dialed. Her hand squeezed mine, just a little tighter, as I began to pull her hair away from her face. Her breath was becoming much more shallow, and her grip weakened. The operator answered after the second ring. Hello? What is your emergency?